Hello and welcome back to the Donut Club podcast. My name is Aidan, and today I am joined by Evan, Hunter, and Teigan. How you doing, boys?
I'm
Doing
doing
good.
great.
Doing pretty good.
All right.
All right, that's good to hear. We've got quite the interesting discussion for today. But before we get into any of that, we're going to go right into our sponsor right now. So let's hear it from Teigan about Anchor. Well, all right. That was a wonderful ad. Now, so today we're actually going to be talking about something a bit different, and I guess technically it's not really different because it does have to do with technology, and that's something we've talked about in the past. Today we're going to be talking about Apple. Now, obviously, everyone knows, second to Disney, Apple is pretty much the biggest evil empire on the planet.
False.
And
It's Amazon.
really, true, yeah.
Continue.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Jeff Bezos is literally just Emperor Palpatine. So anyway, a lot has happened with Apple. Obviously, we know they had very humble beginnings in a garage, just like Microsoft and several other companies. But, about 9 years ago now, Steve Jobs, who was the founder and longtime CEO, passed away. And he was replaced by Tim Cook, who, has been running the company since. And there's been a lot of discussion over the years of how innovative Apple has actually been during that time. Because obviously we've seen, the computers and the release of the first iPhone under Steve Jobs and everything that it was done during his time. And people wonder if they've really been as innovative. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I think it's going to be really interesting because, I'm the only person in this call that doesn't use Apple products. So I can't wait to hear what you boys have to say, and can't wait to say my bit about it. So let's get into it. Do we actually think that they have been as innovative during Tim Cook's tenure as they have during Steve Jobs?
Well,
Honestly,
technology-wise,
I don't think he was as innovative as Steve Jobs, because for one, Steve Jobs has come out with like amazing products, like the first iPhone, the Apple II computer, just to name a couple that have been probably
The iPod.
The iPod, yep.
The OG iPhone.
Yep. That was pretty cool. I watched a video of the reveal of the first iPhone. He's like, it's a phone and an iPod, all like
well,
touch
which iPod are we
one.
talking about?
and
The
then
music
people
iPod
people
or
had
touchscreen iPad?
the music iPod. The touchscreen stuff didn't exist before that. Anyway, he said it's like
obviously.
it's a phone, an iPod, and touchscreen all in
Oh
one.
yeah, didn't
People
he
were like,
repeat it?
yeah, he repeated it a couple times, and people were like, "What?
Yeah,
What?"
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, you guys don't know. It's like It's like, here's the iPhone. It was pretty cool. But however, he has come out with some pretty awesome stuff, like the Apple Watch, for example. I own one. I'm not wearing it right now, but I own one, and it's definitely useful, I would say, and more successful than I'm sure all the other smartwatches. Fitbit, I believe, is probably number 2 on the smartwatch list.
It's the number one selling watch in the world.
Yeah,
right
yeah. It's Fitbit's like number 2, right? I know Fitbit's up there.
It's something up there, yeah.
Something. I owned a Fitbit and it was okay, but then when I got the Apple Watch, I was like, this is so nice.
Just think about it. The Apple Watch provides so much, so many more features than a regular watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even a
Especially
Fitbit. You know what I mean? Like,
because you have a heart condition and it like monitors your heart and stuff like that.
yeah, it's just way more useful. You know what I mean? You could send messages, you can call people, you can do anything your phone can do and more.
Yeah, set alarms,
You know what I mean?
timers, like all it. Yeah, it's very useful, to be honest. I don't know if it's,
in my opinion, that's
the price is a little up there, but it's still worth it.
Oh,
it is up there, but
they all are though.
Very good.
Yeah,
they all are really expensive.
Yeah,
like
everything Apple's expensive, but
even the like Samsung smartwatches are pretty expensive. So I mean,
yeah, so
Well,
that's a
Samsung,
smartwatch.
everything
It's
they
small
sell is
tech.
expensive.
Oh, there.
But
Let's just name just one very innovative invention. Another invention, well, actually, was I want to talk about the iPhones for a bit because I'm pretty sure Steve Jobs died. Was it before the 5 came
2011.
out? It was before the 5
right
came out,
around the
right?
5, yeah.
I think it
Yeah,
was the 5 or 6. Yeah.
5.
Yeah,
Well,
Or no,
no,
most
it was
people
definitely before the
consider
6.
him.
It was definitely before the
Yeah.
6. I know that.
The 6 was I think 2013 or 14.
Yeah,
Most
yeah,
people consider the 5S to be the first one that he really led.
yeah,
So,
yeah. And I want to talk about the iPhone 6 because the iPhone 6. Well, actually, the iPhone 5
Yeah, the iPhone
did
6 came
did
out in
change the game a
2014.
little bit because it was from the iPhone 1, and then it stayed kind of small, like it was a small device, but then the iPhone 5 came out and it was a little longer, and then the 5S came out,
don't
and
forget
all
with the
that kind of
fingerprint
stuff.
scanner.
The fingerprint scanner, yeah, that was the cool
That was
thing
the
with
6.
the iPhone 5. No, that was the 5S. 5S introduced the fingerprint
Yep.
scanner for logging
Oh,
into your phone.
right.
Yep. And dude,
I-
honestly, I went to a very rich high school, I guess, and all the kids are walking around with the 5S. Like as soon as it came out, I was one of those kids who was walking around with an iPhone 4. I was 2 generations behind. But yeah, it was still cool to see like one of my friends, or former friends, I would say. He got the iPhone 5S, and we're like, oh, this is so cool because you got the touch, the thumb scanner thing, and to log into the phone instead of having to just turn it on and type in a passcode and that's it. Um, yeah, that was really revolutionary. But then the 6 came out, and the 6, that was definitely the most revolutionary iPhone besides the iPhone X. Because it was wider, it was taller, it was thinner,
A complete
and
new redesign.
yeah, it was a complete redesign of the iPhone. And at first, I mean, for me, I was like, all right, this is kind of changing the phone a little bit, but in the long run, I'm kind of glad that they did because the iPhones, they were kind of small, dinky, all that kind of stuff. So they kind of needed to get bigger, and as like most smartphones were getting bigger at that time anyway. So I guess
Yeah,
they
but the
were kind of
problem
just
is
jumping on the
when they
train.
got bigger. The problem is when the iPhone got bigger, they got less sturdier because they were using less.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
They
one
took out
fault.
Like you go from the
Right.
iPhone like 4 or 5, they have like you drop this thing without a case. Screen will probably crack, but it won't break. And then like you get an iPhone 6 and this thing it's in your pocket and it kind of like warps.
Oh
I
yeah, it
do have
bends.
to say,
There was a weak point with the
Oh
iPhone
man, I forgot they did that.
6.
They
It was it was
literally just like
it was by
changed
the
shape, like they went flat when
yeah,
you
it
put them in
was
the
it because of the
pocket.
thinner design, the structure got weaker, but I know why they did it because before the 5S and the 5, I know the 5 had like a more of a plasticky kind of back to it, but the
No,
4 the 4
was-
had a glass back and they sort of, they went back to that design, but they kind of went for they thought I mean, at least to me, I think the lack of a glass back was probably better. But with the 6, the weak point was by the volume buttons for some reason. I don't know. I forget why. It was probably just like a structural thing. There wasn't a lot of, I don't know. But it did bend. Like, especially when I was getting some use out of it at the end of my use of my iPhone 6. And I had an iPhone 6 until I upgraded to the XR. Like that's how long I had an iPhone 6 for. But yeah, every time I'd take off the case, I would sort of bend it just a little bit, and by the time I finished using it, it was a little warped by the volume buttons. So that was yeah, I guess that was one fault in the
I do
phone.
have to say though, the quality of the phones have definitely gone up
That's true.
because
That's true.
yeah, because definitely you can definitely drop them now and you can feel a little more safe because yeah, it just I don't know. I feel like if you drop them now, it won't break. That's what I'm saying. Unless the
Yeah,
big brand
they've fixed the mistakes they made with like the 6 and stuff
Well,
like
that's
that. Yeah,
probably less
not
quality and more
nearly as
structure.
easily.
That's probably less quality and more structure. When I think of quality in a phone, I think like processing speed, like how much storage like the phone can have.
Well, no, I'm talking
Oh
quality of
well,
Well,
the
quality
the
the quality
material.
of
and
the
structure
materials.
is, that's
I'm
Well,
also a
talking the
thing too.
quality of the processor.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
but
there's quality has all aspects of the phone, like the
I'm talking quality of like the glass they use in the back of the phone now You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm saying it's a better glass. It's more expensive.
Like in the commercials,
That's why
they
the
were
phone
like
is very
shooting
expensive.
projectiles at it, and it didn't break. They were dropping it, didn't break. They were, and it was, yeah. The phones have structurally improved quite a bit, as well as the look of the phone as well. They definitely took a big L with the iPhone 6 because it wasn't very structurally sound
I mean,
in certain
say what
places.
you want about
but,
that, but that was their most successful iPhone by far.
Well, yeah, it was a
It
complete
sold
redesign of the
crazy
iPhone.
amount.
Yeah.
Over 240 million, dude. It sold like
Well, yeah, you
sold
got
like
the touch
hotcakes.
screen. You got the touch screen login. That was just like a thing now. So it's like
Yeah,
less
and-
expensive. It's kind of like with
and-
the PS. It's kind of like the PS3 and like the PS4. Like the PS4 was less expensive than the PS3 when it came out because like all this technology is just built in now. It's nothing new.
Well, also
Right?
besides
In my
the price, it's
opinion,
like the 6S came out and further improved it. I think they improved the structure of the
And then
phone a
remember
little
the
bit,
6
and then
Plus?
they
It was
improved the
almost the size
software
of a
too.
small iPad.
Oh, what?
Had the biggest
the
phone in the universe, the iPhone 6 Plus.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Almost
The
the size
6
of an iPad.
Plus when they came out with that too. My dad got that phone, and I was looking at my dad, and I'm like, you can literally turn it on its side. It's like the iPhones nowadays, but I thought it was the coolest thing because the iPad was also out at this point. I think it was like the iPad 2. I believe that was the iPad when the 6 came out. Or the recent iPad when the 6 came out. Maybe the iPad Mini came out as well, but
I think
it
they
was
were all
literally you
around
can
the same
turn.
time.
Yeah, you could turn on its side, and the screen would also turn on its side, and I was like, whoa.
It was
This phone is so big.
Was the 6 the first time that the screen would rotate like that on an
That was
iPhone?
no,
6
only on
Plus.
the 6 Plus.
6 Plus.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that
That
was
the first time the
earlier.
screen. Nope. The phone was too small. So they increased the size of the phone, and they came out with the 6 Plus too. And I was like, oh my god, that is the biggest phone I've ever seen. I mean, I'm sure they're made for people with really big hands. My dad doesn't have huge hands.
Oh.
But he loved his 6 Plus. He
I think
really
Got
loved it.
bigger
It
hands
was-
than yours.
I think
yeah.
I think that they just went with a bigger design because that was kind of the motif at the time. Because
Bigger the
like
better.
it seems like at that point, like literally every company was just like, yeah, let's make phones that don't really comfortably fit in your pockets. Like all the Android companies like Samsung and LG were doing it. Apple did it. It was wild.
Let's try to make a phone the size of a car battery and then just like flatten out and see if it can fit in someone's pocket.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much what they did.
I mean, let's face it, it's hard to make a phone really small and make it very
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Especially-
the thing is, it's really not
especially
that
with the
hard at
stuff
the
that they
same
put in
time.
it.
'Cause, like, you think like the processors and the SD cards that they were putting in, they're smaller. So you would think that the size would be smaller, but no, they want to get bigger.
Well, also they're
Mm.
improving the camera every time
Yeah.
too. Like the camera takes up
That's
quite a
Yeah,
bit
but
of
the camera
space
is
in
not
the
the
phone.
reason why the phone is bigger.
Well, no, but it's still like improvements to the overall system. I mean, some parts start out big and obviously they gradually get smaller, but I don't know. I think the 6 Plus was just made big just for the fact for it to be big. I don't think that
well, they might
did
not
it
have
for
had
specific use.
the tech to fit, like, because I know that one of the improvements that they talk about with iPhones every time is like the LCD screen I mean, granted, I don't know if they were on the LCD back then, but like they probably didn't have the tech to make the like
Well,
the screen
it's-
resolution as good. So like,
It's
but
like-
if it was
it's like-
smaller.
It's like before, like in the old days, you have to make stuff bigger before you can make it smaller, just to get
Yeah.
the feel for technology.
Yeah, like look at the PlayStation 3. That thing was huge on the original
That thing
model,
was a monster.
and then they fit literally all the same stuff into a smaller console like 2 years later when they
I think
launched the Slim.
I have the original.
Well, I mean, they didn't just
PS3.
stop at the 6 Plus too. I mean, they also continued to the 7, and there was a 7 Plus, there was an 8 Plus.
Oh god,
Um,
I have a huge problem with like the phones after the 6, and you want to know
oh
why?
yeah, the
Yeah.
The
7
iPhone
and
7 is not good.
No, I have a
yeah,
huge problem. You want to know why? You want to know why I
What?
have a huge problem with that? It's
why?
because they made the oh so great idea of getting rid of the headphone jack before Bluetooth was like really like a huge thing.
So I think
Because
honestly,
now
the
it's fine.
reason
everyone
I think
still had the earpods and everything.
I think
But
the reason
but you had to literally plug things in. You had to get like a jack, and you had to you had to put it in the charger port. And if you wanted to listen to music and charge your phone at the same time, you had to get a jack thing that was just huge and like took up a ton of space. And then like it's just uncomfortable to like do both at the same time.
Big. Well, they didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
the AirPods weren't even a thing
that
yet.
yeah,
either.
Yes,
there's
it's
for the
before
This
AirPods.
was
That
this was
that
before
phone
the
No,
did
the
get a
AirPods.
lot of
iPhone 7.
heat.
No. The
It literally
AirPods
made
did come out with the
zero
iPhone 7.
sense.
That is true. That did happen.
Oh,
The iPhone
okay,
7
yeah.
came out.
So what I was
Yeah.
about to say, what I was going to say before Hunter cut me off was, um, it did get a lot of heat, but they were making a huge push considering Bluetooth was not very popular at the time. They're trying to make a push for people to buy Bluetooth headphones, and I'm sure they used that as a marketing scheme for people to buy their AirPods instead of
Yeah,
sticking
'cause
with the
Okay,
earpods.
yeah,
I think they
you know.
recently.
I
I think they
understand
recently acquired Beats at the
but-
time too.
They
so
did, yeah, and Beats
They were
was
making
making
money off
Bluetooth
of
headphones
Beats.
as well.
Okay,
And
but
they
I
wanted
understand
people-
that. I understand
So-
that, but still, a large majority of the population who had iPhones were still using the
Yeah, there's.
Well, no,
original
I'm not disputing that. I'm
headphones.
just saying
Yeah.
that their business
So, like, it was
idea
really honestly
was to
business-
get people
like,
to
And
the idea
buy
behind it was really
AirPods.
not good. I think the idea
Oh.
behind removing the headphone jack with like that version when you just come out with a new like earpods, which like honestly
Yeah.
I don't think they were very popular at the time.
Oh no! Those ones are. I think they're more comfortable than the old ones, though.
Oh, they are.
That's what
The
I'm
old-
saying.
'cause the old ones
Original
were just
AirPods
circles.
were not as popular as the ones that are like coming out right now. So
Well-
like it was a really poor choice to get rid of the headphone jack because like I said, a large majority were still using the original like wired headphones.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong. I disagree with the fact that you think it was a bad marketing plan. I mean, yeah, sure, everybody was still using these AirPods. And obviously
Exactly,
I have
but they
other
didn't
I have
put
other
those-
issues
I feel
with the
like
phone,
that's
but
reason- I
they
feel
did
like
come
that's
out
the
with this
reason-
new product that they needed to put forward, they needed people to buy. So what better than to get people to buy these Bluetooth versions of these earpods, take the headphone away, you know? And obviously, even though Bluetooth wasn't popular, I think they're trying to make Bluetooth popular. Bluetooth, the thing about Bluetooth,
Well, aside
it's
from
been
like
around
the old,
for like over 20 years. You know,
Yeah.
with Bluetooth and like cars and
and
all this kind
let
of
me-
stuff.
let me say
and
something here.
it's just amazing to me that Bluetooth headphones were not very popular. Taking the wire away, they're so easy to use. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're just
but then you
free.
added
You're not
more wires
limited
for
by the
people who
connection to your
still
phone.
had
Like you can
wires.
walk around your house, like put your
Let me-
phone on
let
the
me say
table. You're
something about
vacuuming
this,
your house. You
because
can just
there's
walk
a-
around the whole house. You know, Bluetooth. Yeah, that was their. I'm sure that was their.
There's something to note about this, is that the iPhone 7, when it came out, was a lot more expensive than the iPhone 6S. Okay.
Yeah.
Because they got rid of the headphone jack and they wanted the Bluetooth capabilities.
and it didn't provide too many more features than the iPhone 6S. What purpose
And
is
that's
it to
why
buy?
that's why the sales
Yeah,
plundered because
which is why the
they
7
made it
didn't
more
sell too well.
expensive with like not that many new features.
Another.
The only
Yeah,
new
exactly.
feature is, no headphone
one-
jack. So that's
I had an
why
issue.
Not,
I had
not
an.
a lot of people bought the 7.
I had
And
an issue with
Apple's
the.
excuse- Apple's excuse for taking out the headphone jack was that it took too much space in the phone, which
Really?
is true. But
as they're
you know,
actively making bigger phones.
As they're actively
yeah,
making
exactly.
one
yeah,
issue-
which
one
is
issue
true,
poor
that-
but-
choice. And then
I
they
was-
make like
yeah.
more cluttered with like the charger port thing where there's a jack that's attached to the charger port so you can listen with your wired headphones and charge your phone at the same time.
Well, I mean,
Great idea,
it's
Apple.
dumb, but
an
I've grown out of it. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
an issue that I had with
more-
the phone. I mean, I never owned the phone. I had, like I said, I had a 6. I didn't get the 7 or 8 or X. I have the
they
XR.
wanted more
But
speakers on the
one-
phone.
One day they're just gonna have wirelessly charging on
They
the
replaced
phone.
the
I'm telling
headphone
you.
jack
yeah,
part with more speakers.
One thing that I absolutely disliked about the phone, and it's not an issue, but they changed the home button to less of a button, but they changed
More
it
of
to
just
more
a
like
spot.
more just a spot. Like it's like it doesn't really serve a purpose other than like scanning your thumb. And when you press it, it's like you're tapping the entire screen down. Like the screen's on like a lever.
I sort of liked it.
I don't know. I
I
didn't like
sort
it
of
too
liked
much.
it just because it didn't break. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
True.
'Cause the
Yeah,
home
they did
button did have
improve the
issues.
structure.
It wasn't a real
Wasn't
button, so it didn't break.
But
However, I do
wasn't
like it now, so that there's no actual
Yeah.
button at all.
wasn't that
I
phone the
used to
first
hate that idea. No
water-resistant
button,
phone? By the
to be
way,
honest.
Yeah.
didn't its water resistancy start with the 7? So that they sort
Yes,
of
it
like
did.
started implementing water
'cause-
resistance.
Yeah, because people would be filming like Snapchats and stuff on boats and dropping their iPhones into the water.
Yeah.
And they realized,
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
it's only water resistant up to a certain depth. Like,
yeah, because the
yeah.
pressure will get to
Well, my
it.
phone,
Mhm.
my phone right now can go into 6 feet deep water. So they're getting
The
pretty good.
thing about the Apple Watch can go even deeper. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
it can
really
go
cool.
like 50 or something.
Yeah, it's like water resistant up to 50 meters down. And I mean, it's,
Oh,
you know,
50
you can use
meters,
it for,
not 50 feet. Yeah, pretty
yeah,
deep.
50 meters. Yeah.
You can go
Um,
scuba diving with it.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could take it into a swimming pool,
Yeah,
swim
you
around.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
I wear it in pools, definitely.
Oh.
You know. But yeah, Teigan, what's your verdict? Do you think Tim Cook has innovated enough?
So, yes and no. iPhones
I
are
had
still
a feeling you'd say an answer like that.
Taking
yeah.
it's a yes or no question. You can't
Well,
just be in the
I'm
middle saying yes and no.
sure you can.
Do you think he's done a good job? Is what I'm asking.
Well, he's done a great job coming out with new stuff,
Alright,
you know.
alright.
But you know, they still have quite a bit to catch up on because their phones are still behind in the technology world when it comes to like the Galaxy phone, the Google Pixel phone,
Their
all these
ecosystem
phones.
is very good. That's what I'm going to
Yes.
give him credit about.
Yeah. And you know, the Apple Watch was super successful. The AirPods are great headphones, by the way, and they're fairly affordable, you know, $150 for, I mean, the AirPod Pros came out, so I don't know
Yeah,
if
the base model is like 100 something.
yeah.
So-
Well, they certainly made a lot more money under Tim Cook's reign.
Well, they came out with more
Yeah,
stuff. I mean,
They've
you
made
know.
well, it's not just the stuff. The marketing of the products. The products have been getting better. They're not crappy. Like they're as more popular than they've ever been. You know, the
By the
products are
way,
more
speaking of popularity, did you see their headquarters, by the way? What their headquarters is going to look like?
Oh yeah, it looks
Absolutely
insane.
insane. It's a huge
No.
campus. It's ridiculous. You should look it up. Look up a picture of their headquarters. They're up there. They were updating their headquarters, and I forgot what it looked like a
apparently
stadium.
the
It's in
iPod,
Cupertino, right?
the
I don't
Apple
know,
iPod is
sounds
now the
around there.
worst selling. So the Apple iPod used to be the best selling like music player out there when it came out, but now it's their worst selling product.
Well, because everybody uses the iPhone.
They don't even
Yeah,
make it
'cause
anymore.
everyone
iPhone
has
has
the
the capability of
They
doing
still,
it.
no, they still make iPods. They still make iPods. They actually do. They still make them, but they're not as popular anymore because
Well, yeah, they
obviously,
make iPod touches.
like your iPhone with Bluetooth headphones and Spotify and YouTube Music and whatever the hell people listen
Well,
to.
most people that are on iPhones just use Apple Music.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Apple
that
Music
too.
is really big.
Exactly, and there's your iPod. So like,
I
there's no
mean, Apple
point.
Music is literally just
And the
iTunes,
iPod Touch.
Spotify
When
together.
the iPod Touch came out, that was super innovative because like it was an iPod and an iPhone, but like mixed into one. But you couldn't call people. You could only like text and email and stuff. You could only use it on Wi-Fi, which was a cool idea. It's kind of like an mini iPad, but it's like a phone.
I'm pretty sure the OG iPod Touch came out around the same time as the iPhone. I
Around,
think it
yeah.
I don't know. You could say
Another-
like the iPod Touch is like the first iPad, in a sense.
Yeah. I mean,
I wouldn't say
technically.
that.
Technically,
I mean, you
A
could.
more
but-
more
Well, you could
advanced
do-
iPod.
okay, Teigan. You can literally do everything on an iPod Touch that you can do on an iPad.
Well, sure.
Well, I mean,
I mean,
Not
you
just
could
her, you
technically
can.
say that.
You can.
You can do more on an iPad.
what? Yeah, you
Well,
can do
yes,
more on an
fine.
iPad. What makes an
You can do more on
iPad
an
an
iPad
iPad
now,
is
but,
it's sheer.
like,
It's like
iPod Touch
it's as
is-
big as it's like a 13-inch
It's a
screen.
tablet.
Yeah, it's
They
a
still
tablet.
make iPod Touches.
I thought
I
they
believe
stopped
they
after
still
like
make
the
iPod.
fourth or
Let's
fifth.
not
I don't
or
know.
forget.
No, they.
sixth
Let's not
generation.
forget
I think
that
they still make them. I think they still make
Apple
them.
TV, the Apple TV got very popular too.
Oh yeah, I have a subscription. I
Yeah.
I wanted to
Do you have
watch
the-
Defending
do you-
Jacob,
I
and
mean,
they have
I
a.
also mean like the box. You know what I mean, like the Apple TV box.
Yeah.
Oh no, I just have
You
it
know
on
what
my
I'm
computer.
That was the thing before. Don't they have a whole like smart TV now?
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm talking about. The Apple
Yep,
TV,
they
the
do.
literal Apple TV.
Yeah.
it's a box. You know what I mean? That's like like the Fire TV kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
literally
if
in
you wanna
competition. The Apple TV in and of itself is in competition with the Amazon Fire Roku.
Yeah, I mean
something like that.
it's very successful now.
Actually, I wanna
Yeah.
I wanna further answer your question, Evan. Is have they been innovative enough? And I feel like my answer was a little too narrow as in terms of technology, like their phones and stuff. But they've gotten into the film industry, which is
Yeah, true.
definitely really
Yeah.
awesome.
And into the fitness industry too.
Yeah. And I remember
You know what I
seeing
mean? Like
concept art for a
they're
car
widening
at one
their
point too.
yeah.
Like I don't know if that's ever gonna
Don't
happen,
forget
but I wouldn't be
CarPlay. Yeah, you're right.
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Apple made a car,
CarPlay.
but what CarPlay?
You know CarPlay when you display your iPhone on the
Oh,
car
yeah,
screen.
I don't know,
Yeah,
maybe. That
I'm
was
just
that
saying they're
new?
widening
Yeah.
their company. They're
And
widening it. You know what I
they're
mean?
really good at making television and movies, by the way. Like I just watched the
Yeah,
limited
Rocky
series
One series.
Defending Jacob, and I'm also on the series. I guess this series didn't get too much positive reviews. It's called The Morning Show, but it's by with
Mhm.
Jennifer Aniston. But they've got some really like big people in their TV shows, and they've done some
Well, they've
pretty
got
good
the money.
jobs. They're coming out with a Tom
Yeah, they have
Hanks
the money.
movie. Coming out with a Tom Hanks movie. It's a World War II flick, and like holy crap,
Don't they
this
have that guy from what's that DC movie? Oh my God, Jason
Aquaman. Oh
Momoa,
yeah, they
whatever his
got
name is.
Jason Momoa
Yeah,
in that show
they have
C,
him
which
in a
I've
show.
heard was pretty good too. Like I would say innovative when it comes to technology. They still have a ways to go because they're competing with like Samsung, Amazon Alexa.
In my opinion, though,
You know,
here's my opinion. The Apple Watch was the best thing to happen to them
I agree.
Yeah.
in a long time.
Aren't there deals?
And
Aren't there
before that,
deals
it was the iPod.
to like you get a phone, but then it can come with an Apple Watch as well? Isn't that a specific deal? Because
It
I've
might be. I'm
known
not sure
some
if
I think
Apple
people that
offers it.
I
have
think
gotten that
I
deal.
think
I don't
Apple
know.
Watch is the
it
best
might.
smartwatch by far. That's my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. They definitely did step it up because like before
Because
the Apple
the reason
Watch,
it's so
it was mainly just
popular.
Fitbits and stuff. Like
Well, the reason
Mm.
the Apple Watch is so popular is because, like you guys said earlier, you can literally call people through your watch if you wanted to. You
Do
can
that on
listen
other
to music
smartwatches
through
too,
it.
but it's
Yeah,
just
you can, but
Doesn't
yeah,
matter. Like it's literally an iPhone on your wrist, so you don't have to pull out your
and
phone from
you
your
can get a
pocket every single
cellular
time
plan
someone
on it
calls
too.
you. You can literally text message
cellular
people through it.
cellular was a big thing as well. I have the version 3 cellular.
I wonder it's so popular.
Yeah, and you can literally take it on a run and leave your phone at home, and it's pretty cool. Aiden, what were you
It's
gonna
just
say
it feels
before?
weird not wearing
oh,
a watch.
Yeah,
I think like if you like, even though like I'm not an Apple guy, the one thing that I gotta say, and I'll probably talk it again when I'm going on my rant and whatnot later, is that the Apple Watch, like before that, it was literally just like Fitbits and Fitbit knockoffs. Because like once the first Apple Watch launched, people really started taking that market seriously. And now there's Google's made a watch. There's a Samsung Galaxy Gear watch I think my brother has, but I think
Those haven't really clicked yet.
Google's yeah, they're just not as popular because so many people have the Apple Watch, and like I guess Google is making their own to be like kind of in like for their phones, which God knows how the phones are going to last because Google Stadia was a complete failure.
yeah. It's just. Sorry, we lost you for a second. Oh,
They're
I think he's having a little bit of technical difficulties with
less.
connection. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Well, in my opinion,
there he is.
oh,
Sorry about that.
Yeah, your Wi-Fi just had a stroke there.
Yeah, I don't know. What I was saying is like they apparently they might have already released it. They're supposed to have a smartwatch that's supposed to be meant for the Pixels, kind of like how the Apple Watch was for the iPhone, but I haven't heard anything about that. So, um, that's kind of one of the things that I would credit
It's
them
amazing
for.
to me.
But obviously,
it's just amazing to me that like 50 years ago, you had these computers, but I'm sure those people back then would never think in a million years that
Well,
you can put a computer on your wrist the size of a watch. Like
computers
that.
60 years ago were also like a server room was one
True.
computer.
Well, maybe not 50 years ago, 20 years ago, when the first laptops are coming out.
Oh.
20 years ago.
It's so cool. You can
it's
literally
amazing.
You can order a pizza from your Apple Watch.
That's crazy. I didn't even know
That's
that.
innovation. That is innovation. That's where I'm giving you credit.
Yeah.
That
you
is
can literally go like this
definitely.
and call an Uber. Like, you know what I mean?
That is true.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And then,
it's really cool.
And then you got phones that are now wireless charging. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can just put it on a platform and the phone would just charge. Which,
and I
still don't know how that works.
That's an across the board thing too, because like I know that
Apple was pretty late to that.
Yeah. I think Samsung might have hit it first, because even Google
I think that's what they did.
Mm-hmm. Even Google with the Pixels, because like after I had an iPhone 5, I want to say, back in high school, and I broke it senior year by accident, and I used like my dad's old Note 5, which was technically outdated by then, and because it's all the phones with like glass backs, I think, are capable of it usually. Yeah. But
that's probably why the iPhone switched back to a glass back.
The glass backs, because they used to have those with the 5, and like, but like with the Pixels did not have it at all until like the Pixel 3. So like my phone, because I'm on the Pixel 2 and it doesn't have it. Like I'd need an adapter to be able to use wireless charging, like just like a little plug that I guess has I don't even know how to describe it.
I mean, wireless charging is not all what Apple is late to the game for. They're also late to the game for Face ID, for logging into your phone. I don't know when Samsung started doing this, but it was probably a couple of generations of iPhones before.
Yeah, and I mean,
they started doing it.
Apple tries to perfect things.
Yeah,
which is why I think they were later.
I mean,
you know what I mean, because I don't think Samsung's was perfect. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I mean, as far as I know, I've never actually used it. I feel like the Face ID might have actually been an iPhone thing, because I know that we had like the Touch IDs, like the pressure pad thing.
I believe Android phones came out with it first. Though honestly, Evan, the iPhone's Face ID wasn't perfect to start. Like if it didn't recognize your face, you'd have to wait like 2 seconds to put in your code. So
yeah,
they definitely did fix it though in later updates.
They did fix it, and it's a lot quicker now.
Yeah. And it's really cool. It can recognize you when you're wearing a hat, when you're wearing glasses, when you got your,
Of course not when you're wearing a mask.
Facial features. Obviously, when you're not wearing a mask, but yeah, quarantine. Yeah, that's what I'm pissed about. It's like I'm wearing my mask. I'm outside.
I wish you could read your eyes.
Yeah, like that would be cool if they came out with a innovation. Yeah. Apple, do that.
So maybe if you're wearing your Apple Watch, that would be pretty cool. If it could unlock it.
If you're
kind of like wireless keys for a push to start car, except it's just your Apple Watch.
Actually, you know what?
Tegan,
what I find about the Apple Watch.
Do you think he has or no?
Has what?
Has he innovated enough to make you?
And actually, with this one, no, because
with this one,
when you have an Apple Watch, and I have a Mac, I have a MacBook Air.
Wait.
What?
Tegan, you didn't hear the question. Just shut up and listen.
Hold on, Tegan. Wait, no, I'm asking: has Tim Cook innovated enough during his reign as CEO?
Regardless of specific products.
No, yeah, take all of the products that he's come out with.
Yes, and actually,
okay.
What I want him to innovate a little bit more is I have an Apple Watch and I also have a MacBook, and when I have my Apple Watch unlocked, it automatically unlocks my MacBook, which is cool. Like when I first got my Apple Watch, I was like, oh, that's so cool. Why can't you do that for iPhones? You got your Apple Watch. You're like, you turn on your phone. Oh, your Apple Watch is right here. It unlocks like that. That'd be so cool. Like you won't have to type in your password. You won't have to face scan. That'd be cool innovation. That's my idea, by the way. I'm trademarking that. Apple, give me money. No, I'm kidding.
Hunter, what about you?
I say no. Honestly, don't.
Really?
My
Why is-
reason behind that is like everything imaginable in business is about competition, right? Apple is trying to live up to everyone else, I feel like, in terms of what was I thinking about? Like the Face ID. They didn't come up with that.
That is true.
They're literally like they're literally adding on to their products to compete with another phone's products because that phone's products is making their products obsolete. You know what I'm
Thinking
saying?
about it,
They're not
Thinking
doing
about it,
anything
yeah.
like hold on. They're not doing anything new. They're literally they're making sure their products aren't obsolete to the competition that they are trying to beat out.
Especially because they know there are
Like,
loyal
you
people
think
that will buy them anyway.
yeah, Apple has
now
a
that I think about it,
'cause-
Apple has really never invented anything.
well, that's not true.
Well, they did
What
make
have
it to
they
the TV
invented?
industry before any of the. I mean,
Yeah,
well,
no, I'm saying
Well,
most of the
that's-
stuff that they do,
it's a little different
they
though.
Hold on.
never
Yeah.
invented.
Hear me out. Like Apple TV, right? For example, Amazon, they came up with a thing like that sort of television way
Yep.
before Apple did.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
actually,
That's
the
what I'm
Apple
saying.
did come up with
Yeah.
something really important. They came out with the first desktop, the Apple
Well,
II.
Yeah, but that's not during Tim Cook's era.
Well, true,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Apple as a
But
whole, they
even-
have invented
Yeah.
something.
But
An
Yeah, they
all-in-one
have, and I'm not
desktop.
saying they haven't
you know.
invented anything, but most of the stuff that they've done, someone else did before them.
True.
You know what I mean? The iPod is an MP3.
yeah,
They
it's
didn't
like the
invent it.
Soon.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
did
The
well? I
iPhone
mean,
is a
they
smartphone.
true.
You know what I
And the
mean?
BlackBerry was
iPod
the first.
but
iPad is
I
a
mean, I know
tablet.
this
They didn't
isn't
invent the
under.
tablet.
I know
Well,
this isn't
before you
under
guys go,
Tim Cook.
like,
What
before
about
you
the
guys go
iPod
on and
Touch?
like cut
Were
me
there
off and
any other
everything, and, like,
touchscreen?
go on and
No,
topic.
hey,
Can I finish what I'm saying, please?
yeah, let
Like,
him finish.
You guys
Yeah,
literally
you go
just
ahead.
cut me off in the middle of what I was saying and just
Go ahead,
completely started
go
talking
ahead.
about something else. Like, fine, I agree with you. Yes, the iPhone was not the first smartphone. Okay, literally Apple is doing everything possible because they have a huge loyal fan base to make sure their products aren't obsolete, so they won't like defer to another product like Motorola or Google or like Android, for example. Like, they haven't done anything new and like makes your jaw drop. Like the Bluetooth headphones, for example, their own Bluetooth headphones. That's nothing new.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, maybe the fact that they're
Literally-
earbuds. I though
no.
maybe earbud and
Well,
Bluetooth
no,
has come
well,
out before.
No,
Earbuds-
even no, no,
earbuds
he's not
weren't-
wrong.
even
AirPods are
weren't-
just they're
like, guys.
they're technically just Apple
literally,
versions.
like, guys, they're literally just Apple versions of another person's product. That's what Apple is. The only reason they're loyal is because they're one of the biggest companies in the world.
Well, they make dang good products too. I mean, the versions they make are generally better than than the other
To an
versions
extent.
to an extent. But you know what I mean. You know.
Yeah, it's their own. They're literally taking an idea and making it their own.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, in my opinion, I think he definitely has. I'm not saying he's perfect at all, but there's bumps along the road. You know, the iPhone 7 was definitely not a good phone, in my opinion. Especially
It
compared
was an
to.
awful phone. Same with the color.
I mean, it wasn't
the
awful.
5C.
It was not different enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good phone. You know what I mean? I'd take it. You know what I mean? Obviously, I wouldn't. I'd take it, but it just didn't make sense to me why it costs more money when an iPhone 6S literally did most of the same thing and had an audio jack.
Well, that's
there's a lot of what?
I mean, one of my friends said that the 6S was the greatest iPhone ever made, and some part of me agrees with him. You know,
Yeah,
it
no,
keeps the
no, yeah.
headphone
The 6
jack.
and
It's
6S phones are great. Yeah,
yeah,
awesome.
highest selling
And,
phones of
and
all time. Yeah.
yeah, and and iOS 7 also came out during his actually ownership of Apple.
Actually,
That was
I have a question. I have a question about iOS. Because I do know that I forget which iOS it was, but that iOS was so bland. It was just so like meh,
I think
But then they spiced
everything
it up a bit with a new
everything
iOS, and it just
before
changed the whole game. I don't.
everything it was 7. It was 7
It
because that
was
one
iOS
dropped.
It
7.
was
Okay,
iOS 7. That's what I'm talking
that
I
about.
want to
was an
say
amazing iOS.
I
Yeah.
want to say that's when you, Hunter, and I, as well as Dylan and Abe, were all freshmen in high school.
A lot of people
Right.
did not
Yeah.
like the update though, which is weird.
I liked it. I was like, whoa! I was taken aback.
I know
Like,
I liked
it
it
was
too, but some
really.
people like the old
It was
icon
it
better.
was
Yeah.
it was the first one to give it like the weird bubbly appearance, though, wasn't it?
And it looked more
Yeah,
futuristic.
the applications were more square-ish. I mean, they're still square. They're still square-ish, but they're less. They were less
They're more
round.
they were more
Yeah.
boxy before.
Right. That's what I
But
meant.
I think that the Apple Watch really gave him the edge here because just look at how much that thing impacts people's lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just it's really cool to see. Everywhere I go now, I see an Apple Watch. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually was watching
And
I was watching a Buick commercial, and the Apple Watch was being used. It's like, oh, reminder, like they're being used in commercials and all this kind of stuff to advertise other products too, which is crazy.
Low key probably getting money from Apple to do
Yeah,
that though.
yeah, probably. Yeah.
It's like Audi's being in the Marvel movies.
you can
Oh yeah.
unlock
Well,
your
yeah, they're
car with your
sponsoring them.
watch too. You know what I mean? It's
Oh
just
yeah.
I think like besides the iPhone, I don't even include the iPhone with the innovation that he's done. I think with the Apple TV, he massively improved that because before the Apple TV 4, it was very bland, and now it seems like an iPhone or an iPad on a TV, and it's just got apps and everything, and it feels really
It
modern.
actually feels like a smart TV that
Yeah,
isn't
and it feels
10
like a
years old.
modern smart TV, and it's just like it actually you can respect it now.
One
And
thing.
it's more so it's not so how innovative each device is. It's more so how widespread Apple is now. You know what I mean?
And
Like
one thing
it.
can I add to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that one thing that I really respect Tim Cook for? And just iPhone has just been so simple, and they kept the design simple and like fun and unique, and just like making Apple TV simple to use as well. People like simple, and they like spiced up
Exactly. That's
looks
what
and stuff
Apple
like that.
is.
So
That's what the iPhone always has
yeah,
been. And sure, they have the
which is probably why it
11
sells so
Pro.
much.
They have their Pro phones.
Yeah.
For more advanced people. But yeah,
Advanced.
Well,
more
yeah, and their
advanced.
camera system has
Not
really
old
advanced as
people,
well.
but I
Like,
mean,
yeah, not old people. Um,
yeah. So
can we talk about their
yeah,
cameras for a sec when we want to talk about
yeah.
innovation?
Let me get to that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
The other
Just
ones.
look at how widespread the company is now. Because take a look back 9 years ago, they weren't a big health, and fitness company. You know what I mean? Like they are now with the Apple Watch. You know what I mean? They didn't. It's just a lot of stuff was now it's a much more well-known company from other things besides the iPhone, and you know what I mean.
Yeah, I
That's
hear
my
you.
point.
And they're worldwide too. Like, you probably, I mean, other than
Well,
a
they
couple
were
of third world
worldwide
countries, like,
before.
well,
Yeah,
yeah.
they definitely were.
It's just crazy to see. It's just like so many people are using the iPhone, and it's just like is the iPhone the most popular phone, or is it a different
I think
phone?
at this point, I think that it
On
is
in the world.
just because
Yes.
it's Apple is like the iPhone is like the Disney of phones. everybody knows it regardless of who they are.
Yeah.
And
Or
don't
where they're
forget they came out with the new iPhone SE so that it's more affordable.
Yeah, I was actually I looked. Isn't it just like a glorified iPhone 7? Isn't that pretty much what it is, or is it like?
It's basically an iPhone 8. That's
Okay.
So another
It
one
looks
that's an
cool.
iPhone 11.
The
Besides
iPhone,
an
the
SE.
previous SE was Hunter, you owned it.
Cheaper.
I had
did
that one.
not. I did not like that because they went small again with that
Yeah.
phone. I don't know why
The
they
new
did
SE
it.
looks great.
It does. Yeah, it does.
It does look great, and I'm obviously not going to buy it because it doesn't make any sense. But
No, yeah. What
yeah,
does that
but
even mean? Like,
I could.
what's the purpose of it? Is it like just a cheaper
Basically,
phone?
it's for people who want the iPhone 8 or 6, 7, all those design. And
But
yeah,
just with the
cheaper.
better software, cheaper and better
Yeah,
software.
and it has a little better processor,
I'm wondering what
So-
all these stand for.
It's
to be
probably
honest.
the actual build, because like the outside structure is probably made with like less expensive materials.
Yeah.
Because like I know that the 5C they changed it from the glass with the metal ring to
Just a
being
bunch of colors.
straight colorful plastic.
that phone was nuts.
Those phones were. I mean, it was a cool design, but that phone definitely
It was a very
really
cool
crap.
design. I love the colors. It was so
Came to
nice.
structure.
It's like it seemed like a Nintendo product.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, the blue reminds me of the 5C a little bit on my Nintendo Switch, like the same color.
Yeah, it seemed like Nintendo, like kind of like
Yeah.
helped them out.
They partnered
But,
with Nintendo. Yeah.
in short, I think he's definitely led the company to innovate enough where it counts.
Well, yeah. I mean,
mean,
it's the
anyone
most
can do
used
better,
product in the
but-
world. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think iPhone's definitely improved enough. I mean, come on, look at the differences in it now. The battery on this thing is unreal.
God, those used to be
Another
awful.
feature. They've added fast charging on the new iPhones.
Oh
Really?
yeah, that's been
good.
a
So you can charge your
godsend.
phone really, really quick.
Yeah.
That's actually really
The cameras have improved every single model. Like the iPhone 11, you can shoot a movie on that and you can watch it on screen and be like, "All right, this was shot with a professional camera." Like, and actually one more feature iPhone was late to the game was night mode for their cameras, which filming in the dark too. So, they've
Yeah.
been behind, but they're still have come out with it just
Can they please
masterful.
make it USB-C already, please?
I believe the models that are coming out this year will be,
They
because
better.
I think
That
they
was-
realize that everything's moving towards USB-C, and
It's just
considering
like
how
add
many
like
people
one
still,
charger.
yeah,
Yeah.
considering how
It's-
many people don't have iPhones still, it's like
One of the things
The iPad Pro
else
is
is
USB-C.
that's actually really good. One of the things that that was one of the things I was always upset with Apple. It's like they had to be unique, and which is fine being unique, but just like you give your customers one charger when they get the iPhone, they lose it. Got to go buy another one from an Apple store because, like, I mean, sure they make knockoffs of
like-
those, but they're not very good. They stop working after a while of using them.
and it's like
Yeah. I hope Mac chargers gets to that point as
No.
well.
even like the regular USBs, if you don't buy like a decent one,
Yeah.
they probably will.
Like-
I would imagine, because like
Yeah.
I guess laptops now even have USB-C. It's like I know that I bought a USB-C to HDMI adapter thinking it would work for my phone.
So,
but
yeah,
it's meant
also-
for laptops and computers. So
Yeah.
I definitely think Apple has innovated enough under Tim Cook, definitely. But
Yeah.
I know Aidan will definitely disagree, but
What's your
Yeah.
stance on Apple being the only non-Apple user in this group? Besides Abe, but he's not here.
all right, here's how I look at
he's breaking
Why?
out.
Yeah. His internet's kicking the can again.
His internet's so bad.
His internet bought the farm.
it. There we go. I had to fix that. So for me, technology-wise, I feel like there have been a few things, but not enough to say that they're super innovative, because obviously there are certain things, and it comes down for me, like the iPhones, I feel like material wise on the outside, like hardware we'll say, really didn't improve significantly. Like the six was a soft hardware wise on the outside.
Oh, his internet bought the farm again. Uh-oh.
God, is
Oh, there he is. This is sort of why I dislike the fact that we have to video call for these podcasts, is because someone's internet could be really bad one day and just like it just interrupts their whole, talking. Well, while we're waiting, do we have um there he is. Aidan? Oh my goodness.
like like I said, certain things are great, but like between the 6, the 7, obviously, I think we all agree was pretty trash. I think in reality, like update wise, after iOS 7 came out, even on the software, like the cameras got better phone to phone, but like even software wise, nothing really impactful came until like the 8 and the X. And I mean, don't get me wrong, that might just sound as me being an Android user hating, but there are some things that I think they did really good. And but also, like, I gotta say, like we talked about already, a lot of their stuff, they weren't the first to do it, so you can't really call it innovation. Like the Apple Watch, there were already smartwatches, even though they were crappier. Uh, AirPods, there were already Bluetooth connectable headphones, earbuds, and even Apple Home, Google Home, and Alexa, and all that were already a thing. But I think the one thing that they get technology wise that I will never look down on is the fact that everything is so integrated.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
You,
definitely
you pull your AirPods out of their base dock box, whatever they're called, I don't know.
the case. Yeah.
It's just the case. All right. So you pull those out of their case, and the first thing that it does, your iPhone or whatever it connects to immediately says, "This is how much battery is in each pod. This is how much battery is in the case."
Same with the Apple Watch too. That's
Yeah,
what the yeah.
it automatically shows that stuff. The Apple Watch, like everything is integrated. It's all one thing. Like that's the one downside to Android, I feel like, is that it's so broken up between different companies. It seems to me like each company has potentially their own version of the Android operating system. I think Google has done a really good job. Obviously, Samsung's killing it, but they can't beat that. I think accessory, like mainline, because obviously there hasn't been anything major. Like it's on record that thing like the iPhone since Tim Cook took over. But like all the accessories like the AirPods and Apple Watch have become such an integrated thing with the phones and the computers of all kinds, which I mean, even it just based on what I saw with Teigan at a Best Buy a week ago, is that it almost seems that like the laptops are even better than the desktop computers at this point, which is
Oh,
wild.
by
But
far. They're crazy. There's a touchpad on the
yeah,
friggin'
it's
MacBook
wild
Pro.
what the new ones have. But I think for me, the innovation with Apple really comes less from what they've produced in their products and their technology, but more so their marketing. I mean, Tim Cook
Yeah, I agree.
Tim Cook has taken the companies to financial levels that you didn't see before, and it's wild because it's insane to see where we came from. Because even 6 years ago, like when I was a freshman in high school, almost everything was literally through like iTunes. That's it, and now it's like Apple Music. Like there's individual apps for everything. There's like they have like Apple News. That wasn't a thing. All the little apps like Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, it was all under one thing, and they broke it up, which you think, well, it makes it cluttered, because it does, because PlayStation did the same thing with their apps, and I hate it because you used to be able to do all the same things in one app just like you could with iTunes. But I think Apple has executed that far better. And obviously, I mean, this dude convinces millions of people that each new phone is drastically better than the last, to the point where people are willing to go drop however much money. I mean, people love you buy the name, I think is a good way to put it. People and they hate on Android products and just call them Androids regardless of who they're made by. And it's like Nike with Air Jordan. You have a successful name, people are going to support it, and that's what they have with Apple. They have a supported brand that people recognize and love, and that's where it is. I mean, they've got people going out every other year, $100 on a new phone.
Even every year, people
Yeah.
spending thousands of dollars on the new
Yeah.
phone, and they just
Yeah,
come back
some
next
people
year and
some
do
pe-
the same thing.
some people buy the new phone every year, which I think is ridiculous. But like even with the AirPods, like I'm holding my, I know you guys can't see me, but I'm holding my wireless headphones, and like I like sound quality wise, I don't think there's too much different. I know that you can get, you know, headphones that do most of the same stuff when it comes to what you're actually listening to as the AirPods. But people are willing to spend $160 to $200 depending on what version, because it's Apple. Like, I mean, I don't want to like say that's a bad thing, because people can do whatever they want, obviously, and that's where Apple has been extremely innovative, is that they continuously are able to get people to buy their products regardless of how much change there is, which is in its own right, I think, something that could be considered incredibly innovative. Like Teigan, I know, bought the AirPods just because he has everything else Apple. Some people are like that.
It's also because of the connectivity. I'd put them
Yeah.
in, they automatically connect to my.
That's-
Same with like Apple keyboard and the Magic Mouse. Like whenever I'd turn my laptop on, the keyboard
Those
would-
immediately.
like I had a Logitech keyboard, and every time I had to connect it, I had to type in a code and like press connect and all that kind of stuff. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm so sick of that. And then the Apple keyboard just connects right away.
You don't have to.
So easy.
I think even if it's not innovative technology wise, it's more so. I think the integration and the financial aspects is where the innovation really is, because obviously the two most innovative iPhones during this time, well, I guess three, because the 6 technically kicked it off, and then it hit like a lull for a little while. The X was it's the 10. The iPhone 10 and the XR are, they're way better than the 8, which is hilarious because they released like at the same time. But even the 11 Pro, I'd say is the most innovative iPhone to come out since the 6.
That's an amazing phone.
Because I think they've taken a more Samsung approach with that phone.
Yeah, they really have. They're looking at it and they're like, okay, we need to do what works, and that's why I think they're gonna probably move to USB-C instead of their Lightning adapter and shit like that.
Of course, they stick with their Apple simplicity, because that's what
Of
people love.
Of course.
And that's why people buy their stuff. You know what I mean? Otherwise, they'd buy Samsung.
Yeah, I mean, I've had 2 Android phones since an iPhone. I don't think it's like complicated by any means, but there's certain benefits to both. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, there definitely is, because technologically, Samsung's better most of their phones.
Well, actually, that's the thing. Apple uses some Samsung products in their phones, and that's why they're so expensive. I think Apple is.
I heard they were going to stop
trying
doing
to
that,
go.
though.
I hope they stop doing that, because iPhones have been getting as expensive as a MacBook nowadays. Like,
yeah, they're
$1,500 for a phone.
You could
That's
buy.
insane.
You could buy, and it's wild how they do it, because you're practically leasing a phone, because you pay it off on your phone bill usually, like you would.
Yeah, unless if you buy it outright.
Yeah, and most people can't do that, obviously. So like, I mean, with the amount of money that you spend on an iPhone, technically you could get a gaming PC if you're into stuff like that. You could get 3 PlayStation 4s at launch. Like,
Like that's how expensive they are, and it's ridiculous. And I hope this new iPhone comes out and it's going to be less than 1,000.
yeah, I
That
think
would be nice.
I'm not gonna
That-
lie. They're probably.
Well,
gonna
I mean,
stay
if they
around 1,000 for a while.
integrate their own like system
because
into
the
it instead of
SE's out,
using other.
the
How
SE is
much
going
is
to be
that
the
SE,
cheap
by
option.
the way? How much is it?
I think it's $400,
$400.
Yeah,
which
that's-
is significantly cheaper.
yeah, that's wicked low
Oh,
for an
jeez.
iPhone.
That is extremely low, and it's and unfortunately that's going to be their cheap option. You know what I mean? Everything else is going to be.
So if we're talking about the charger, is that coming out with the next phone? Is that going to be the?
Well, nothing's confirmed, but
I believe, like, I've heard things about it, and if they do, obviously that wouldn't qualify as innovative either, but it would be a move. It's like
it would just be a
Microsoft
good move.
making
Yeah.
the Xbox like a PC. Like, it's just the smart thing to do. And I mean, literally the only reason I think, like, obviously Android phones are different. Like, it's not too complicated, but I think Apple just has this aura to it, and it draws people. And despite the fact that Tim Cook has the personality of a wet piece of bread compared to Steve Jobs, he's still managed to bring people in. And maybe it's because of his time at IBM and his prior business dealings, and that's why he's so good when it comes to the financial innovation behind the company.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, they went, like, just because of how everything connects, they're dominating wearables. They're in the game. They're really in the game with streaming services. All the things that they've done that aren't even significantly new tech, they're just so successful with it. And like, I don't think they're super I guess to wrap up my point is I don't think they're drastically innovative technology wise, but financially speaking, they're probably one of the most innovative companies in the world. Because
See, that's why I said yes and no, because like
Yeah.
I didn't really have a solid.
yeah,
answer.
I mean, obviously, crapping all over their tech. Like I said, it probably does sound like an Android user being like, but I've played both sides when it comes to iPhones and non-iPhone phones, and honestly, that's just the way that I look at it from my experience. But I think they're still great phones, and that at the end of the day, that's what it is. They're great phones regardless of how much they change or don't change. So I think that's my bit.
So, do we want to talk about things we hate most about Apple products and things we like most about it, or did we really sort of touch on that? Because there is a few more things that I kind of dislike,
Well, I do-
especially with the
I do have
MacBook.
one complaint.
I have a couple complaints with the MacBook. One, it can't do everything a PC can. I hate that. I hate that Apple does not support a lot of things that PC does. Like, for example, PCs, I think, come with Microsoft Word for free. You have to buy it on a Mac.
Yeah.
All
Well,
this, like, PowerPoint, like I have to resort to Google for all this kind of
I
stuff.
downloaded it for free.
Yeah, I
Really
was gonna say
ridiculous.
a lot of colleges do offer it for free.
Well,
though.
I mean, I had a bug on my computer and everything got deleted. So
Yikes, that's
So, I can't really get it back for free. Another thing that I really disliked with Apple computers is that where'd all the ports go, guys? There's like 2 ports on the computer plus the charging port. Like, what? 2 USBs.
Yeah, that's really dumb.
There's literally 2 USBs and like a couple other ones I don't know, and then the charging port. You have to get a friggin' dongle to get a bunch
So
of like,
stupid.
and especially with the brand new Macintosh MacBook.
I use an iPad Pro. That's what I use. But
Well, yeah, but especially with the new MacBook, there's only like 2 ports,
Oh man.
and it's ridiculous. Yeah, sure, they have the fancy like touch bar kind of thing. They got these really nice speakers on top of the next to the keyboard. the mouse touchpad is, very big, but you can't plug anything into it. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. That's Tim Cook. Fix that. I know a lot of things are like getting Bluetooth nowadays, but like
our opinions don't matter. But fix these freaking issues.
Fix that. Yeah.
You know what my complaint is, and this is part of the reason I'm glad that I switched. Is I think the durability obviously is getting better, but one of the things that I hated was after the 5, because I don't know if you guys remember, but like the 5 had like the metal strip, despite the fact that it had 2 glass sides. It had like the metal strip around it.
The 4 had that too.
The older ones. I kid you not, I dropped that thing a million times and it cracked once. Whereas, like, for a couple generations of iPhones, you drop your phone once with a case and your screen.
See, I don't know why they did that. I think maybe it's because they wanted to use a cheaper material to make the phone cheaper or something like that. I have no idea why they did that.
Even the Gorilla Glass isn't always as durable as it's supposed to be.
I mean, I've dropped all the iPhones I've had. I've dropped so many times, and they haven't.
All I can say is I don't necessarily think Apple needs to shell out extra money to fix that. If anything, people should just buy cases. Stop buying a $1,200 phone and then not putting a case on it.
Yeah, I see people walking around like they think they own the place. They don't have a case on their phone. It's like, dude, you drop that, you're gonna break it. And it's like they don't care. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal of not putting a case in your phone. Maybe it's like it feels too bulky. It's like, okay, they have streamlined cases out there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just I mean, that's my only complaint, but it's easily solved by a decent case. So,
I remember when those life-proof cases were really a thing. You know what I mean? The iPhone 5S came out, like these huge these were $100 cases.
Oh yeah,
and this was before they were waterproof and all that kind of stuff.
I'm telling you now, though, if you buy like an OtterBox or something like that, and this is obviously not sponsored, we don't have enough viewers for that. If you buy something like that, you will not regret it. If you extra money for a really expensive phone case, you will not regret it. It will save your phone more times than you'll ever know.
Yeah, and those glass screen protectors too are pretty good too. I only have the
very true
plastic one, but though honestly, I don't like those for one reason, and that is because if it breaks, you think your phone broke, and that is like the scariest thing ever. So I prefer the plastic one, to be honest. Yeah.
Well,
the screen protector for the Apple Watch is terrible. Don't get a screen protector for your Apple Watch. It's not needed. It just comes off. It literally just comes off.
One of the little cases.
Yeah.
So anyway, does anybody have any final thoughts and or complaints in regards to the topic of innovation related to Apple?
As much as Apple, like you said, I'm going to restate what you said, as much as Apple isn't really technically innovative, they have done an amazing job with drawing an audience towards their product. And I do have to commend, and even though their ideas are not fresh, I think they did it the best, which is, I mean, that's in my opinion, but that is probably...
It's like Edison with the
where the praise should be at. Yeah, they did it the best. They didn't invent it, but they did it the best way so far. I mean, there's not another company that has made such a product that sells so well.
Yeah, so, and if you are going to get an Android phone, if you're one of those people who doesn't care, just get Google or Samsung. Don't go with.
Don't even go with Google. Go with the Galaxy phone. Galaxy is probably the number 2 phone.
The Pixels are great.
Well, yeah, camera wise.
The whole thing is good because it's all integrated with all your Google accounts. But that's a topic. For another day.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's a topic for another day. Well, I think unless anyone else has anything other to say,
Apple is the best.
Hunter, anything to add?
No.
Okay.
Hunter's not even here.
Any of you people thinking about getting an Android? Here's my advice. Don't get an
Wow, okay.
Get an iPhone.
Okay.
I'm kidding. You
Okay.
can get whatever phone you want, but I do
Yeah.
highly recommend iPhone.
Make smart financial decisions either way. If we're gonna leave you with any advice, make good decisions with your money. Don't buy what's the most popular just because it's the most popular. Buy what works for you, both financially and I guess technologically. And with that, we should probably close out. So, everyone, thanks for listening. Share the podcast. You know, we posted on Facebook immediately, but obviously you can find us here on Anchor where we publish. But if you happen to not be listening to us Anchor on, you're likely listening to us on either Spotify or Apple Podcasts, maybe even Google Podcasts, as well as other sites that you might be less likely to. But obviously, you can share from there. Please, we would greatly appreciate that. We do have an official Facebook and Twitter page where we share the episodes, so make sure you go follow those for weekly updates. We do have a listener support option that is completely optional, just because obviously, it's your money. If you do choose to do it, you can sign up for a monthly donation, kind of like Patreon and other things of the sort. But again, those are completely optional. What we do have that is completely free is joining our community Discord server, where you can hang out with other listeners as well as all of us. And that includes Dylan and Abe because they are also in there. There you can drop suggestions on and how we. There's an invite link in the description of. And lastly, if you have any concerns or suggestions, we do have an email, and you can send us a message at thedonutclubpodcast@gmail.com. No uppercase letters, no spaces. As always, you'll catch a new episode every Sunday. We upload them nice and early so it can be the first thing you hear in the morning. Well, everybody, we'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye.